Hello there, you're welcome back to Biology Lectures with Akirili Oladimich Philip. It's my wonderful pleasure to have you with me on the lecture. So today we'll move on to the next section on our cell biology, which is cell division. So in this lecture, I'm going to be introducing cell division as well as chromosomes to some extent. Well, let me go back there again. From what you're seeing on the screen, you're seeing that this GIF is dividing. It's very important for cells to divide because that's the only way in which the organism gets bigger, so to say. So it's an essential part of our lives, as it were. Now, you're probably looking at this structure here called chromosomes. Yeah, you can see that when this thing is magnified or zoomed in, like inside of it, you're seeing some structures. Those are the DNA. I normally tell my students that you should know that nucleus contains chromosomes. Chromosome contains DNA, while a segment of DNA forms the gene, so to say. So you can say that your chromosome is made up of a condensed version of DNA, or it's just made up of DNA with some other things, histone and all of those kind of things, really. But the point is, inside your DNA, inside your chromosome, what you have there is the DNA. And the common question that comes to mind sometimes is when people ask you, how many chromosomes do you have in a human body? Well, I think the right question should be, how many chromosomes do you have in each or a single cell in the human body? This is very important in the sense that the sex cells have a different number of chromosomes, which those ones are going to be 23 chromosomes, while the number of chromosomes in the general cells, each of them is 46 chromosomes. Now, the reason why I kept laying emphasis on this is because I often hear students talk as though the number of chromosomes 46 is found all over the whole body. No, I mean like sum together. No, it's just one single cell that has this 23 pairs of chromosomes, or you say 46 chromosomes, counting it singly, so to say. Now it says here, eukaryotes such as humans have nuclei in each of their cells. This nucleus is in turn contains genetic material in the form of chromosomes. So it says here the chromosomes are in turn made up of DNA molecules, and a segment of this is referred to as genes. I said that earlier on. Understanding the structure of chromosome is quite important because it controls cell activities, because based on the instruction embedded on the chromosomes, you should know that we normally say that the function of the nucleus is the fact that it controls all activities of the cell. Good, that's correct. Now, the actual thing within this nucleus is the chromosome that contains DNA, so to say. So if we say the chromosomes or the DNA controls the cell, we are still right, because these are the things found inside the nucleus, as it were. Now, this is what we're seeing here. You can see clearly this is the nucleus. So if you go in depth, they're going to see chromosome which looks like this. Then unwinding the chromosomes, you get to see things like this. Yeah, that is histone and the DNA together forming a nucleosome, so to say. Then when you break that down, a segment of that is a gene, so to say. Of course, we're going to be looking at what a nucleotide is and all that in inheritance and variation and all of that later. But the point here is the fact that the gene is in DNA, the DNA is in chromosome, and the chromosome is in the nucleus. I mean, that's very important. You need to understand the hierarchical arrangement of these materials, as it were. Chromosomes are called up length of DNA. So we can say that if you stretch out your chromosome, what you're going to have is what? DNA. So a segment of the DNA is referred to as gene. We said that already. So it says here, so it's preferable to say that The cell contains nucleus, the nucleus contains chromosome, the chromosome contains deoxyribonucleic acid, which is the DNA, while the DNA contains genes. So each character trait is controlled by the gene. So that very thing, each of these genes codes or makes different proteins that controls our character. Like I'm quite dark in complexion, really, that's a character trait. Having long fingers is a character trait. So each of these character traits has a gene that makes that. It says here, this means that the dark skin, blue eyes, long fingers present, etc. in an individual are controlled by different genes. Yes, that explains that part. So this is what a chromosome look like, or just structure of a chromosome. You can see this is the centromere that holds this chromatid with this chromatid as it were. All right. Now this is just telling you more about how, the color of the eye is a genetic variation controlled by a certain gene. So it means that there are genes that made this person have some sort of blue eyes. There are genes that made this person have some sort of that brown eyes or golden eyes, so to say. So the point is, each gene controls different characteristics, traits, and all of that. So here, this was what I said at the beginning. I said in our body cells, some cells have a set of chromosomes and hence are referred to as diploid. What that means is it is in pairs like that. So cells in our body, most cells in our body have the chromosomes in pairs like that, and those are called diploid. Some people call it diploid. It doesn't really matter, but it's the spelling. I call it diploid. Now it says the 46 chromosomes in most human cells are made up of 2 pairs of 23 chromosomes. Each is inherited from the parent, one from the father and one from the mother. In that sense, reproductive cells, however, have only one set. So for reproductive cell, we're going to be seeing just like that. It won't be in twos. It's just going to be just one single cell. And for example of such cells are your sperm cells and your egg cells, which are made up of only 23 chromosomes just in single strand, as it were. So this is what I was saying. These that you are looking at on the screen, so I was saying this is 1, this is 2, so this is a pair. They are in sets. So if you count this singly, it's going to be 46. If you count it in pairs, it's going to be what? 23. Now, mind you, this is if the person is a female, so if it's a male, or if this is a female. XX chromosome means female, XY means male. So it means going to be this 1 to 22 is for everybody. We call this autosomes. Autosomes. Those are chromosomes other than the sex chromosome, why we call these ones sex chromosomes, as it were. All right. So on the other hand, now let me go back again. These that we are looking at is what you find in all the cells of our body. Just like if you were to pick these cells out here, what you're going to be seeing is the fact that this guy contains 23 pairs of chromosomes or 46 chromosomes. But here, reproductive cells such as these are called haploid. Why? Because they just have only one single strand like that. Just only one single strand all the way. So it's not in pairs, just one, not in pairs, in pairs. And that's found here and also here. And the reason for that, we're going to be looking at that later, that if not for these 23 chromosomes here, we're going to be having abnormal chromosome number during fertilization. So when this comes together, this forms 46. But imagine it was 46 plus 46. That would have been terrible, so to say. So it says a different species of organisms have different number of chromosomes in the nucleus. For example, humans have 46 chromosomes in the nucleus of most cells found in 23 pairs. For example, here, all right? Now, the red blood cells, however, don't have nucleus. Yes, they've lost their nucleus while dividing. That's one cell in our body that doesn't have nucleus. Of course, if there's no nucleus, there's no chromosomes and there's none of those things. So here, well, if you're interested in this, I want to pause the video and see that each different organisms like the buffalo, the cats have different chromosome number. Bear in mind that what you're seeing here is in the form of diploid. Each of these organisms, when you look at their sex cells, for this one is going to be 30 because sex cells must be half of what the general cells are. This one's going to be 16 in the sex cell. It's going to be 30 also. It's going to be, you can go on and on and on and on. Just know it's going to be half of this that you find in the sex cells of such organisms. All right, here it says here, before a cell can divide, its genetic material needs to double so that each daughter cells have genetic materials in each of the nucleus. All right, so it's telling you why we have just one single chromosome, then how it's doubled to look like this. All right, so I'm going to see you in the next one talking about the test. Bye-bye.